am having a deeper thought about this Asake saga that women need to learn about, because Asake might be under influence way more than his control, because he's still a child. No matter how old he is, to the mother, to the father, is a child. I want you guys to really get that. And we should not underestimate the influence of the mother on the child, because no matter how old or how mature the child is, it's going to be way out of his control. And I want you to think about that, because I see a lot of people dragging Asake that is a bad boy, blah blah blah. No, please do not let us drag Asake or blame Asake so much, because the influence that might be controlling the whole situation might be way more than him, and we really need to be smart about this. Although we know there are some unrealistic people out there, the moment issue like this come up, the next thing they say is the father is irresponsible and a whole lot. But there is no way in the whole saga where Asake said my father abandoned me or what. But you know, people with shallow thinking, you can't change them. Meanwhile, I want you guys to pay attention to the fact that Asake dropped his surname, which is Odusli, for Asake. I want you to think about that. Think about that level of influence in becoming who he is today. And at the same time, women need to understand that you being a good father does not really determine you receiving love from your children, because it is a sad fact and it is a reality we really need to live with. That is the more reason we really need to plan our old days, so that we can be able to survive when we are older. Let us think about that. Meanwhile, if you start receiving children while you are old, my dear brother, that is a whole lot of big plus for you. However, we need to understand that a man might really be a bad husband, but be a good father, like Ashake's father we all see. But the reality is that financial failure might really make him to appear before the child like a bad father too. I want you guys to think about that complex situation in the family. Meanwhile, with the influence of the father, the status of Asake today is the major problem of that father, because nobody will want to help the father with the status of Asake, knowing fully well that Asake is well successful and what have you. Nobody will really want to go and be giving him money or supporting him. Although the situation is, it is not Asake's fault, but it is what it is. Meanwhile, only very few people are talking about the fact that the mother dumped him when he was 3 and went to move on with another top musician there in Lagos Island. Many people don't see that. Many people don't see the fact that the father lives more than 10 years because of Asake before he could choose to marry another wife. Nobody is really talking about that. Let us think deeply about this. Although he might actually be a bad husband to the mother, and that is another thing we really need to watch, because that will bring the kind of influence he might be getting from the mother. However, if you build your child to become successful, most of the men will just go out there and be enjoying, feeling like I'm the father of the star boy and what have you. But the mother are going to put a triple force to influence the child. Most of the time, you can see all the great stars in the world, when they say their money is not under their name, most of the time it's under the name of their mother. I want you guys to think about that. The number one force every woman plays on their children is emotional manipulation, which is way too much for any child, even we as a man, to handle from our mother. Just imagine when your mother comes before you and be crying and doing everything, that if it is not this my breast you suck and what have you, I carried you in my womb, I breastfeed you here, I suffer, I almost lost my life when I want to give birth to you, and a whole lot. Every child will met for that mother, and that is a whole lot for a child to handle. And number two influence mother can have on the child is that mother can pray the whole day for the child, because definitely there is a man taking care of her, and then she can use the whole of the time to pray for the child, in which if the child get to notice that the mother is praying all along for him or her, the child is going to feel like my mother is more than 100 supporting me. I want you to think about that influence on child life again. And number three is the spiritual manipulation most women have. If you notice, you will realize that most of the women doesn't have art difference with any religion. She can be moving from one alpha to one alpha, from one pastor to one pastor, from one shrine babalawo to one babalawo, just to make the child become who she wants. And she can actually be telling all the babalawo, the pastor, the alpha, that my child is not interested in me, and a whole lot. They can do a whole lot to control this child. In fact, he might move along with the child to become something in which might really restrict him doing some behavior. Only smart people will understand what I'm talking about. Because when it is comfortable for the child to do a whole lot of favor for random people and find it difficult to do the same for his own father, let's think about that. Notwithstanding the natural love God has put between the mother and the child, which is unbreakable by any man. Let us think about it. And as a man, if you like, take good care of your child from 1 year to 100 years, and they don't see you love their mother, my dear brother, you still have a whole lot of vacuum somewhere, because child and mother's love is unbreakable by any man. And this is a natural instinct. This is a natural thing, and it is unbreakable. If you think all I'm saying is not true, imagine Asake saga being dragged all over the world for the past 3 4 days, and the mother has not really come out to really say one or two things. Do you want to tell me you don't understand that this might be an orchestrated plan, or things is falling in the direction of which she wants it to fall? My dear brother, this video is actually for the brilliant people, and if you fail to understand, you will learn the hard way. Let us think deeply about this. Don't let us drag Asake. Let us keep begging him to do the needful. Peace out.